You know Disney, the once loved American diversified multinational mass media and entertainment conglomerate turned evil mastermind bent on world domination? The guys who gave us smash hits like The Emperor's New Groove, The Little Mermaid, The Lion King, and everyone's favorite Disney movie, The Wild? Yeah, they made a movie about Goofy, creatively titled A Goofy Movie, and it is the best Disney movie ever made. They also made a sequel to that movie, and it is one of the worst Disney movies ever made. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit. Okay, a lot. I'm exaggerating a lot. It's an alright movie or whatever. I just have a lot of problems with it that no one would even care about. But I'ma tell you why I hate it anyway. So sit your pretty butt down, grab a little snack and some sody pop, and follow me as we take a little trip down memory lane. More specifically to 1992. Once upon a time, long ago, Disney created a TV show about their best character ever,
Mr. Goof.
otherwise known as Goofy. In this show, Goofy is a single dad who lives alone with his son Max. The two live in a trailer park, until one day Goofy gets a job and moves into a suburban neighborhood with his pal Pete, his wife Peg, and their two kids PJ and Pistol. The show is actually really good. I mean, I haven't seen all of it. The show isn't what this video is about. I just felt like I should mention it because Goofy movie is a bit of a follow-up. Also, the reason a Goofy movie was even made was because this show was so popular. So now that we have all the setup out of the way, let's start talking about how a Goofy movie is the best, and an extremely Goofy movie is a horrible sequel. A Goofy movie is the best Disney animated feature hands down. It has a very heartfelt plot about a man trying to connect with his son and a kid who wants to stay away from his dad. And each of them have to come to terms with the fact that one may not feel the same way as the other, because that's just how people work. Goofy has to learn that his son has to grow up and become his own man. I mean, he ain't gonna be a little boy forever. What the heck is wrong with me? And Max has to learn that he'll never not be Goofy's little boy. No matter what, Goofy's gonna be there for him because he's his father. Unless Goofy leaves for milk, but we don't like to think about that kind of stuff here. And each of them need to compromise to love and understand each other. This movie follows Goofy taking his son Max fishing. It's a typical road trip movie. To all you uncultured Gen Zers who haven't seen this movie, imagine the Mitchells versus the Machines, but actually good. Meanwhile, Max is trying to impress this girl he likes named Roxanne by making her think he's going to a concert in LA to meet a very popular pop star named Powerline. But the movie mainly focuses on the road trip to Lake Destiny and Max's reactions to the weird stuff they run into, while also subtly reminding you... well, subtly is a bit of an understatement, but while also reminding you that Max is either gonna get punished by his dad for changing the map, or shunned by Roxanne for not showing up on television like he promised. Right here, I just have the word purpose written in my notes, and I mean, it's true. Almost every, if not every, component of this movie has a purpose. Clearly there's Goofy and Max, who are the main characters, but there's also Roxanne, the entire point of the movie. She's the reason for everything. She causes Max to lie about going to LA, she's the reason Max realizes he did wrong when he changed the map, and she's the reason they end up heading to the Powerline concert so Max can impress her. The whole purpose thing applies to the songs as well. On the Open Road, Nobody Else But You, After Today, Eye to Eye, Stand Out. All these songs move the plot along seamlessly in some way.
They've been laughing since I can remember, but they're not gonna laugh anymore.
After Today introduces the characters, shows how obsessed Max is with Roxanne, and ends with him confronting her. On the Open Road makes a typical road trip montage into a bumping musical number that gives us dancing corpses, singing inmates, and Mickey Mouse? Nobody Else But You takes what could have been a touching conversation between Max and Goofy and turns it into a song about how each of these boys need to learn how to love each other, and so on and so forth. Even each scene in this movie has a purpose. There is very little to no filler in this film, like Lester's Possum Park. This scene shows Goofy embarrassing Max to the point he loses it, having a temper tantrum in the car. I've memorized his freak out. It goes, this is the stupidest vacation! You drive me from home, you give me the stone car to drive 1,000,000 miles away to see some stupid rat show! Oh my god, that hurt. And this causes Goofy to contemplate canceling the road trip and going home. And then there's my favorite scene, the fork in the road. This scene is perfect. It challenges Max to make the right or wrong decision, and he ends up making the wrong decision by going left and heading to LA and not like Destiny. Now, I'm not saying filler in movies is completely bad. In my eyes, as long as the filler is funny and not boring, it's fine. It's filler with a purpose. But this movie needs no filler. The writers were confident that their plot could fill 90 minutes without getting boring or tiring, and it worked. Hey, you better cherish this because you're gonna be missing it soon. This movie probably has one of the cutest romance subplots I've ever seen in any movie ever. The chemistry between Max and Roxanne is adorable, and it's so well written. It feels real. It feels like two real little kids who like each other. And in this movie, we get a main character who has the guts to ask his love interest out at the start of the movie. You know, for a movie called The Goofy Movie, this movie isn't all that goofy. Now, there isn't anything wrong with that, but there's exceptionally more heart in this movie than you would expect to be in the yuck movie. Most, if not all of the humor, from what I recall, is just a bunch of slapstick, which was basically filling in the parts of the movie with little to no dialogue. Alright, you probably get it. This movie is amazing, I love it, others love it, and you should like it too. Because my opinion is fact. Everyone knows that. I 100% recommend this movie to anyone who has any interest in comedic animated musicals with heartfelt plots and endearing characters. Now let's take a look on how the sequel poops on all of it. After a Goofy movie got $35 million in the box office, clearly the next step was to make a sequel that completely undermines everything that the first movie built up. Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
We're about to take a look at how not to make a sequel. An extremely goofy movie is a poo-poo garbage story with poo-poo garbage characters that do poo-poo garbage things in a poo-poo garbage setting. An extremely goofy movie is a sequel to the hit Disney film, A Goofy Movie. And it is way worse. Now let me get this out of the way. This isn't an overall horrible film, but I personally don't like it for specific reasons I'm gonna get to in a second. This movie follows Max, Bobby, and PJ going to college and trying to win the College X Games. Meanwhile, Goofy gets fired from his job and has to go to college alongside Max to get a degree so he can get a new one. Oh, that was a long sentence. I have a sneaking suspicion the writers of this movie didn't work on the first movie. I mean, they probably did. But I don't think they did. Because if they did, then the writers of this movie pulled a full 180 and completely erased the memories of all the characters. Because every character is back to their original state. Goofy's back to being a silly, naive dad who wants to get close to his son. And Max, once again, is trying to get away from his dad. It's the same exact plot. Replace the vacation with college. You have the same movie. It's so dumb. Goofy used to be my favorite character from the first movie. He was just a well-meaning dad who just so happened to be a goofball, who was a little dinky. Now he's extremely ignorant. Every single thing he says is delivered with his childlike glee. Imagine a child meeting their favorite internet celebrity or movie star, but replace the star with Max and the child with Goofy. That's their dynamic. Goofy treats Max like an idol. Not to mention how rude Max is. Max is definitely at his most unlikable in this movie. In the first one, he was just a misunderstood kid who wanted to stand out.
Pun entirely intended.
But now he's truly repugnant. He's such an insufferable, self-indulgent troglodyte who thinks he's hot stuff. I read a thesaurus, by the way. Also, remember that thing about purpose? Yeah, that's out the window as well. There is so much pointless crap in this movie. There are subplots that go absolutely nowhere. There are scenes that go on for way too long that are completely And that's where the sentence stopped. That's literally where the sentence stopped in the script. There's a pointless dance sequence. There's a dream sequence that tells us stuff we already know. And why not 3 montages? Because the first one had a montage. Oh my god. There's this one part midway through the movie where Goofy joins Max's rival X Games team, leading to Max and Goofy competing, and Goofy ends up beating Max, which makes Max upset, which could be a cool idea. It could show how Max would act getting shown up by his father. But nope, only a couple seconds later, it's revealed that the Gammas cheated. In a very forced and unnatural way, might I add.
We'll win how we always win. And how's that, Gammas?
Skill?
Good looks?
Oh, you dense dolts. We'll cheat.
Cheat! 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 Just like we did last time, sweetheart.
And that was a great cheat. But now, I have a better plan.
People don't talk like this! Hearing this, Goofy decides to
quit,
making this entire chain of events pointless. Upon rewatch, Goofy quits before he finds out that the Gammas cheated. So yeah, I'm still right, it's all pointless, but I just put the story beats in the correct order, unlike the movie, so, you know, that's that. They do that so much in this movie. Things just happen. Hey, let's have a really dumb and pointless dance sequence that does nothing but establish 2 pointless subplots. Hey, let's have a dream sequence that goes on for way too long and just regurgitates info we've already learned. Hey, let's have 3 pointless montages that literally waste time. Hey, let's have Max say a really cringy line at the end of the movie that makes you want to crap your pants and throw up at the same time. I'm sorry. I lost my cool for a second. Oh, there. Just give me a second. And don't even get me started on the songs, because there are none. The first movie was a musical with tons of catchy songs that I still, to this day, hum while I work. This movie?
No.
You know how a Goofy movie had a really good romance subplot? Well, an extremely Goofy movie has 2 romantic subplots that go absolutely nowhere. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a lie. One of them goes somewhere, and it's Goofy's subplot. When Max takes Goofy to get his... What was that for? What was that for? She's just staring at me. What? What do you want? When Max takes Goofy to go get his library card, he falls in love with the librarian, Sylvia. Throughout the movie, they grow closer, until Goofy forgets to go on a date with her, thus accidentally standing her up. The next scene, Goofy apologizes, and she accepts the apology. That's it. The conflict is set up and resolved in 2 scenes. PJ's subplot is even worse, if you can believe. In a scene after the boys arrive at the college, they head into a hippie coffee joint. This scene is actually really good. It's where the protagonist meets the antagonists. It has some nice humor.
The only thing you 3 could win is a loser contest, baby.
Wow, nice trick. Did they go fetch and play dead too?
It works, but it also introduces one of the most pointless characters I've ever seen in any movie ever. She's so pointless, I forgot her name. In fact, I don't even think she has a name. I don't think they state her name once. I looked it up. I looked it up, and her character's name is Beret Girl. She doesn't have a name. When BJ and Beret Girl meet, they're... Beret Girl. They didn't give her a name. When PJ and Beret Girl meet, there is somehow some chemistry. The next time they meet, they are at a party. Beret Girl asks PJ to dance, and they do. That's it. There is no further development on these 2 characters. PJ begins talking philosophically afterwards, but that's it. I'm being serious. It sucks. So, the plot is a complete carbon copy of the original. The subplots are either extremely pointless or extremely forgettable. And there are no songs. At least the animation has to be good, right? No. I mean, It isn't the Loud House movie levels of bad, but compared to the original, man, I don't know. It just seems kind of lifeless. The original movie was animated on cells, which led to an overall unclean look, with darker colors and imperfect lines. This movie was clearly animated digitally, judging by the cleaner lines and brighter colors. But despite that, the movie looks way worse. At least in my opinion. The cleaner look just loses some of the charm of how the original looked. It might just be nostalgia talking, but the dirtier look of the original just looks better to me. I know I've been dumping all over this movie, but on its own, the movie ain't half bad. You might have noticed how the title is An Extremely Goofy Movie is a Horrible Sequel, and not An Extremely Goofy Movie is a Horrible Movie. That's because the movie isn't that bad. It's funny.
False start. Both teams back on it. Get back here.
It's got a lot of stupid meta humor.
He's got his life. I've got my life. My life. My life. My life.
Spooky.
But some of the dialogue does kind of make me laugh. I said Goofy and Max are both aggravating, and that is true to some extent if you're looking at it as a sequel. In some moments, Goofy can be pretty funny, and sometimes very cute.
I got a date.
For as little of an importance as Sylvia has in the story, she's kinda likable. Bobby is an absolute trip.
Sure, your cool balances out his fool.
Okay, whatever.
I love Bobby to bits. I constantly forget PJ and Beret Girl even exist. And Max? Yeah, no, Max sucks. Max is a very bad character. He's very poorly written. As a standalone movie, it's fine. An Extremely Goofy Movie is an alright movie and a horrible sequel. I know it's very cliche to say the first movie is better than the sequel. What? Were you expecting a but after the sentence? It's true. I mean, I just talked for 15 minutes about it. It's gotta be true. I just hope this video was able to convert you into believing in the one true God, Walt Disney, creator of Mickey Mouse, Star Wars, Marvel, Capcom, Nintendo, Sega, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, iOS, Android, life, death, the very ground you're standing on, and now, your soul.
He is so goofy.
What do you say we go for
A picnic?
Yeah, then maybe even a
Walk on the beach? I'd love to.
you know, somehow I knew you would. Yeah.